Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Sorry, it's a little late out here today. Apologies if you hear my kitty. He's also just again a little riled up because it's late, so I'm trying to get these reviews done fairly quickly. But just got back from the film festival. I went and saw two movies today, so we'll be talking about this one. And then a few videos down the line, you'll be seeing the other review for the other film that I saw. But we're going to talk about this one first. That film that we're going to be discussing today is Omaha, which was directed by Cole Webley, who is in his feature debut with this. Written by Robert Macania. I think that's how I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. I don't recall this is his first time writing. I'm not entirely sure. But oh no, he wrote The Killing of Two Lovers, which I actually have seen, and was and he actually directed it too. So actually interesting. But this stars John Magaro, who you may have known for a couple of Kelly Richards films. And specifically First Cow, most recently with The Mastermind. He stars in this, and he stars as a father. Recent or a few months down the line, not entirely sure, but he had recently lost his wife due to a sickness or to something even potentially more darker, as the film kind of illustrates through its subtle nature. And he has fallen through hard times, and he is not able to pay off his house anymore, as well as other expenses. And what follows from all this is that he takes his two kids, Ella and Charlie, on a road trip all the way to Omaha, to where there is to where there may in fact be a future for all of them, individually, and individually what that journey means for each of them. So, and the film chooses to present the story, it very deliberately so in twofold. One of which is through a level of uncertainty, which is deliberately being shown through the perspective of these kids. And withholding certain information till the very, very end, to allow for its subtle nature to kind of take shape. Now, full disclosure, I actually did end up talking to one of the producers of this film after a Q&A. We had a little bit of an exchange. I believe his name was Chase. I was looking up his name on the IMDb. He was, at least if the name is the person I spoke to, he was an associate producer on this film. So I just wanted to, provide some transparency that I did. I speak to the producer quite a bit afterwards, or at least one of the producers afterwards. And thankfully, though, I had positive things to say about it and not anything more negative. I mean, obviously, if I'm talking to someone in that setting, you would hope it would be something positive. So, thankfully it was, though, because, there is ultimately, without really giving it much away, there is the discussion of the principle and morality within the act of sacrifice. Because it's a film about sacrifices, and I won't necessarily say what those sacrifices are. I'll kind of leave that for the film itself, but I feel as though it explores those ideas in very compelling ways, mainly, and I believe dictated through the trio of these really, really solid performances here. I think John Magaro provides a very great performance here. It's subtle, but you get all the understandings of what is happening on the inside. And there's a muted nature to the film as well, which I feel was, for the most part, warranted. There is dialogue taking place, but that dialogue is more or less, conversational, but not to where it is providing context to its subject matter. It's just kind of allowing an observant nature, and the performances having to do the heavy lifting to illustrate events, to illustrate what is happening, and how these characters are feeling on the inside. And those performances, I feel, do really, really great work, and thankfully so, because of just how much it is catering and needing of those performances. Because kind of getting into the other side of that equation, and this kind of it follows within the conversation that I had with this producer, which was, because he talked a lot about how the film, for about 10 months, they were trying to figure out an edit. They were trying to figure out how to structure the film. I believe of also additional photography, because this was also the subject of also during the actor strike, during the 2023 strikes. And when you watch the film, my feeling about it, and this was a feeling that was ultimately validated when I had spoken to him, was that there's an apparent padding that is taking place to amount to a feature length, because there was, the way that he was framing it, it was about, trying to get it to certain festivals on time, and then it was about trying to get the edit correct. And to me, it just feels as though that you can feel that sense of padding taking place, to where it is wanting to be feature length, it is wanting to be longer than it actually should. And there's a secondary characteristic that comes into play, which is this environmental showcase, with the landscapes of the desert, or, with them going to cities, or this and that, lots of landscape taking priority within the film, which is, gorgeous. The framing of it is very, very nice to look at. But a lot of that is for the sake of aesthetic, and not necessarily in the vein of creating more meaning. And its desire to expand out for those specifics, I feel, is a separation from the story itself, and not giving more of that meat that the story is looking for. But ultimately, within what is there, with those performances, and within its aura that it is built, this kind of welcoming yet dense, aura that is built, it's suitable, and the subtleties that the film plays with are earnest because of the fact of what those performances are doing. There are things about it that make it a worthwhile endeavor, and is a film that I would ultimately recommend. Incidentally, I don't know when the film actually will be released, because I don't know if they actually have gained solid distribution yet, as far as I know. I could check the Wikipedia. I have it right here. If they've actually, they have actually gained distribution through a Green Witch Entertainment. So congratulations to them. But I feel it is ultimately a 50-minute film that is being supplied within a film that is 83 minutes. I feel that it is something that is trying to be expansive. It is trying to be longer for specific reasons, and I feel that those reasonings are not suitable or earnest or beneficial to the story itself. It's beneficial to the promotion of said art, but for the art's sake, I don't think that it actually benefits. But there's performances there that really, really keep it afloat, and it is ultimately what is the deciding factor of whether or not you are in or out with it. And for me, I found myself intrigued, and I found myself invested, and it has that whisper of a journey similar to Paris, Texas. But I just wish it wasn't much of a whisper. I wish it was louder. So I'll just kind of leave it on that. Because what was holding it back for me is just sort of the spirits and the mentalities that are taking place behind the scenes. And I kind of wish that there was more of a concern with other things than others, in my opinion. So there's my thoughts on Omaha. I thought it was good. I don't think it's great, but I think it's good. Like I said, the performances there really keep it interesting. There's a compelling it's compelling. There's gorgeous framing. There's a nice tone that's established. But I just feel that there are more interest within aesthetic in some cases than looking for greater meaning within its within its depictions, or you know, at some point, you know, they describe in the Q&A the ending shot, and in that describing of that ending shot, it just feels like some of it is also lost in translation, either through the the you know, the desire to just show, but not necessarily, you know, to express, you know, if you know what I mean by that. So sometimes that subtle nature can work against itself. So, but generally though, fairly well made for what was conceived, what is ultimately conceived and birthed and released. So those are my thoughts on Omaha. If it ever, you know, comes out theatrically, check it out if you guys can. I think it's fair, you know, not great, but you know, definitely has its bright spots that I do believe outweigh any of its shortcomings. But let me know your thoughts on Omaha if you guys have checked it out. If you guys checked it out, because it played at Sundance earlier this year. If you guys checked it out then, or if you guys saw it at San Diego Film Festival, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.